Know when we're live. Just let me know when we're live. We'll just get into it. La 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 la. Good time. What? Red Rover. Sim Tim. Right over. Red leather. Red leather. Red leather. We're not live, are we?
Of course we are.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all sizes and shapes. Guys, welcome back to another podcast. I'm Seth, and this is No Sugar, No Cream, and welcome to the Lion's Den. It's official. We're taking the little name. If you can figure that out, you win $20.
What popular clip? Well, it's on all.
Don't give it away. I gotta lose $20, Tim. We can't. They got to figure it out themselves.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Tim, hey, to another podcast. 52,
54,
53.
Four.
Oh, really?
4.
Oh, that did I just do the details for 53? I did, didn't I?
You did just do the detail for 53.
Oh.
One more after 53 would be 54. Edition, basic edition. 53 plus 1 is
50. Ooh, I kind of need to call him back. Crap, my AC guy.
AC. Yeah, AC guys are, I think, making a mint.
Oh yeah,
in America this year.
Can I call him back and you carry it for a second? I'm gonna walk.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're leaving me alone. What the heck? But you know, the people that are making money in this heat wave got to be AC people. You know, because my AC it's hot in here. It's not keeping up. And we're going to pretend that we can't hear Seth talking on the phone there. But I had a very busy week since I was last here. And just tell her to suck her up. Just tell her to suck it up.
So I was like, you should have let me know. He would have jumped on that quicker. So.
Yeah, so I went to, I did a very fast project. And completed a project for a deadline Thursday night. That was very stressful. And then I traveled to a full weekend event in Oklahoma. And that was absolutely amazing. Met so many other musical people. And we'll talk a little bit about that if Seth is interested, because, you know, let's face it, Seth runs No Sugar, No Cream. He's in charge.
Whatever. Yeah, you got to call that AC guy. That my tenant's place was getting up over 80, and I didn't know it was getting that warm. And that we had the AC guy was going to come out. But
talking about AC, you know, we watched
AC,
we watched a kind of biopic last night. Lamborghini, Ferrucci Lamborghini. You know, anyone who knows anything about cars is familiar with the exotic car brand Lamborghini and the lion logo, or the bull logo. And I learned that. Can I go into that now? Is that appropriate to go into that now?
No, definitely not.
Okay, we'll have to do it later. But what made me think of Lamborghini? He survived World War II, which I imagine.
You talk about Lamborghinis.
Well, AC. The connection is AC. He was very skilled.
I want to find a Lamborghini AC.
Yeah, he started. Right? So he survived World War II, which I would imagine back in that time, if you come home and whatever side you're on, your losing side, winning side, when the soldiers come home, they were so happy. I survived. I didn't die. And he came home, and one of his jobs when he was in the military was mechanic, and he had learned a lot how to be a great mechanic. And his dad and brothers ran a farm, and he didn't want to do that. He invented a tractor. You know, at post World War II, everybody was all excited. The war's finally over, and economies are booming, even in Italy. And everyone's so optimistic for the future, making a lot of babies. I mean, you know, that's where the baby boomers came from after World War II. Everybody got home and got busy. Making up for lost time.
You're technically during that time period, right?
No. I'm too young for that. I'm too young from the post-war. I mean, depending how long it went. How long did it go? Decades?
Well, there's a couple.
That first right after 46, 47, 48. I'm not that old. There's by far.
Right.
So
no, you're just a little baby.
Yeah. But, the war was over in 45 and the soldiers would get home and, a lot of, they've been putting off getting married if they had a girlfriend and their girlfriend's still waiting for them, hopefully, 6-7 years, they're going to get busy pretty quick. And that's where the baby boom started. Anyway, so he got home and he and his first wife died in childbirth, which was very common back then. Anyway, he invented a tractor that was more powerful and less expensive than what was available. And at the time, fuel was expensive. Italy was a defeated country, so the economy was in shambles. And diesel was less expensive. Diesel was less expensive than gas, and he devised a tractor that would run on both gas and diesel. I'm still wondering, how did that possible work? What he did, it would start on gas, and then it would heat through copper tubing. The manifold would be hot, and it would heat up the diesel so that it could be used in the same engine. That blows my mind because, I used to work on a farm and I used to rebuild engines, and there are two completely different types of designs. I mean, a gas engine has a spark plug to ignite it, and a diesel engine just uses extreme compression to make it go off. So that interests me, but I Googled it. It wasn't in the movie, and a lot of times they make stuff up, but I Googled it, and according to the reports that I read, he did do that. He invented a tractor like that. And then he invented a bunch of other stuff. He invented an air conditioning company, which is still apparently in existence. So like you said, let's get a Lamborghini AC.
Would they sell off their
he sold AC everything off eventually. Okay. But it's all, according to the article, all of those businesses he started are still operational. Engines. And then, of course, most famously, he had a Ferrari car, and he didn't like the clutch in the Ferrari, and he said his tractor clutch was better, and his tractor clutch was the same size and it fit in the Ferrari, and he started modifying his Ferrari to have that clutch. And then in the 60s he launched his own brand, and who's the head guy of Ferrari, I forgot his first name, had a falling out that he made fun of him. He said, "You're just a farmer, go back to your farm," and really insulted him. And so there was a competitiveness there. To this day, and I was Googling this today, it just cracks me up. Ferrari is extremely exclusive, especially with the limited edition Ferraris. If you want to buy a new Ferrari, they will do a background check on you, and they will not necessarily allow you to buy the vehicle. And if you do buy the vehicle, there's limitations. You can't modify it. You can't paint it different colors, whatever you choose. And you can't sell it without their permission or at least notifying them. So they control. Being a Ferrari is like belonging to a club with a lot of rules. And one of the interviewers said, you don't even really know all the rules. And here's the part that cracks me up. To this day, 2025, if let's say you're very rich, you're a billionaire, Elon Musk or founder of Facebook, or, you've got money to burn and you can spend money. Oprah, okay. And Jeff Bezos, you're a billionaire. And so paying a couple $100,000 for a car is nothing to you. Well, if you have a collection of cars, and in that collection is a Lamborghini, they will not sell you a Ferrari. The competition remains 60, 70 years later. That cracks me up when I read that.
That is funny.
Not that I'll ever own a Ferrari, unless I own, like a 50, 60-year-old one, beat up one, maybe.
This guy was a pretty sweet Porsche.
Yeah, well, I do have a Porsche, but it's a 25-year-old Porsche. The thing about my car, it's cheaper, most likely.
How old it was? You have a Porsche, Tim.
I do. But the thing about Porsche 911s is they barely changed the design, so my car looks like brand new. Most people don't know that it's a 2000. And it doesn't have many miles on it, so that's when you want. I'm my wallet squeaks. I'm not a.
We got to get your Porsche to the shop so we can start riding that thing. My first experience in Tim's vehicle, and there's nothing too wrong with it. The light just came on.
The light came on. It's been really hot, and the gauge for the heat wasn't up, but the little light came on, and that worried the heck out of me. So I got to get it to the repair shop.
And it could be something as little as a spark plug or something, right? Or
not spark plug, but a sensor.
Or what's those little things? Those little fuses, right? That's a common thing, right? Fuses.
I don't think a fuse would make a warning light go off.
Oh, really? I thought that happens?
A sensor, most likely. A sensor. Some misreading of a sensor.
My first memory of being in your car was just pulling out here, and some neighbor was like, "Nice car." I was like, I was like, "I like being in this Porsche." I wasn't even in it 10 seconds, and somebody's complimenting you on your vehicle. It is nice.
I'm fortunate to have it. I appreciate it. But I mean, it's less expensive than probably a new car. Certainly, if it's an F-150 pickup, my Porsche is a lot cheaper than that. So of course, people. I can't imagine paying. Entry level. I think pickup is like $40,000 now. Entry level with no bells and whistles. $40,000, $50,000.
And you're doing a good job of keeping the miles low on it. I mean, for the most part, we use it to go to our favorite restaurant.
Yeah, which is like 2 miles away.
2 miles away. But hey, we get it out. And it gets
my
sunset.
mileage car is a Toyota Camry, which you can put like 500,000 miles on. So when I got to put miles on, I drive that pedestrian, kind of boring, middle of the road car. I am my father's son. He would not spend money easily. So I do like the look. But anyway, but I am fascinated. I love cars. I would love to have a Ferrari one day. Just being honest, I would. And I'd love to have a Lamborghini. And then I'm looking at, went through a laundry list of all of the exotic car brands. Bugatti is still being made. And Maserati.
Even a step up, right? I mean, it's like as far as price too, right?
I think so.
Bugatti is crazy.
Maserati, another brand, Italian brand. That ends in an E. Maserati, Lamborghini, Bugatti, Ferrari. And then
it's crazy. I mean, then there's sorry, you were going to say something.
And then you got the German brands, you got of course, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, but then you got the premium ones like Maybach, which is owned, I believe, is that owned by Fiat? No, is that owned by Mercedes-Benz? I'm not sure. Audi. I think Fiat is the big overall, which is an Italian brand, but it owns so many of these brands now. I think Fiat owns Porsche. Porsche was independent for a long time, but they finally had to give it up. But Maybach is a high-end brand owned by one of those big companies. And then you've got your British brands that still survive. You've got Rolls-Royce, of course, and Bentley, two similar but not exactly the same. Bentley is a little more performance-oriented. So basically the way it was summarized for me, I just Googled it recently because I'm interested in that. Rolls-Royce is for someone who wants somebody to drive them around. Bentley is for someone of the same level of quality that wants to drive it themselves. Better driving experience for a Bentley, but the luxuriousness of a Rolls-Royce. I'll probably never have either one of those, but unless I remember when I got my Porsche, I went out there and they had a bunch of older cars. They had like an 80s Rolls-Royce. And an 80s Rolls-Royce is like humongous. I mean, the cars in the 80s and then a Rolls-Royce, like it probably wouldn't even fit in my garage. And they had one there, and I was fascinated by it. It's obviously an older model. It looks like it was made in the 80s. And I asked them about it, and I said, well, every time we get one, we ship it to like Dubai or the Arab countries. They like the huge, I even saw a picture of somebody took a Rolls Royce and combined two of them together. So it was twice as wide. They like really ostentatious big vehicles. But a 1985 Rolls Royce is probably not that expensive. I mean, comparatively speaking, I'm going to guess, but the maintenance is probably as expensive. So Rolls Royce, Bentley, Aston Martin, Aston Martin. When I think of Aston Martin, I think of, for some reason, James Bond. I don't know. Did they have a lot of Aston Martins in there?
I don't know
for sure.
James Bond.
Yeah.
It's something neat too about a brand that has usually more of a cheaper car, Nissan, and they have a sports car and a very popular sports car. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but something CR. Are you familiar with that? But it goes for like $250.
Of course, Mercedes has the AMG. So it's still a Mercedes, but it has high end.
Yeah, the GTR.
Yeah, I've heard of that. See, I think I've. What was the one? I don't know if they still make it, but it had a wooden frame. Yeah, they still make them. The British brand that has the wooden frame.
And then Nissan Z, that I've always liked those. I would kind of consider.
Well, that's still a Nissan, though.
That's more of a.
It's still a Nissan.
Right, but it's a sports car. I guess I'm a fan of Nissan too. I've always like, as far as
what's the British
Nissan,
brand that has wooden frame? Look that up.
Wooden frame car.
Wooden frame car. Can't think of the name at the moment. Very limited run. Like made in a handmade, basically. Awkward silence. Awkward.
Morgan?
Yes, Morgan. Do they still make them? I think they still make them.
Really? Even out of wood then too?
Yeah, well, the frame traditionally was made out of wood. I mean, not a very long, not much longevity.
Cash. Wow.
Do they still make Morgans? I think they do. That's one of those things, if you know, but if you don't know, you just don't know.
Oh, and that's that style. I like that style. That ages.
They still make them, right? You could still get a new Morgan.
I'm not sure.
I mean, a lot of those brands have been like Bugatti. Oh, well, and moving from cars to beer, I read an article just the other day that came across my feed. I love reading deep dive articles. I think this was an article from GQ, and it talked about the beer wars, which really interested me because I'm a business person, marketing. I have an MBA with a concentration in marketing, so I'm always interested in marketing stories. And in Schlitz, I mean, have you ever heard of Schlitz beer?
I have not.
You're just a baby.
I'm just a little baby.
So Schlitz, you can still get Schlitz, but it's like there are companies like venture capitalists that buy up all these defunct brands, and then because they're worth nothing, and you can get them for cheap, and then rejuvenate them, and then for nostalgia, apparently you can get a Schlitz beer, but it costs you like $7. I mean, it's like a very unique thing. People recreating their youth, maybe, or something like that. Along with the same company that owns Schlitz owns Pabst Blue Ribbon. Have you heard of PBR?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one you're more familiar with.
That's something that's an interesting thing, subject within itself, because that could be done across all
clothing lines. There's a company that bought all the defunct. I mean, like Forever 21. There was a company, I read an article, and they bought all these old. I think Eddie Bauer is owned by this company. All these companies that went under, and now they bought them, and all they're doing is managing them and having everything made for them third party, which will question, does it still have all that great quality? But I read an article about a guy, he's probably got 50 of those brands, and he's bringing them back. The brand is, most people recognize the brand. It's worth more than zero. It's worth something. So anyway, Schlitz beer in the 70s, Schlitz was the number 2 beer in America. They had been the number 1 beer in the 50s. But by the 70s, Budweiser had taken them over. And so the head of the marketing team decided that they were going to retake number 1, and he was going to do it by hook or by crook. And he did some questionable things. And so, the Astrodome in Texas, the Astrodome in Texas, the Houston Astros played there, baseball team. It was the first.
I've heard of it, but I'm not very familiar with it.
Oh, you're so young. You're so
such a little baby.
The Astrodome was the first covered stadium. First.
If I was to know all this information that you asked me, if I know, you would have nothing to tell me.
True that.
Let's be thankful that Seth is as dumb as he looks. Let's be thankful. Let's just have a little moment of silence. Thank you, Lord, for Seth's stupidity, making Tim sound so extra smart. Even though Tim is already smart, being around Seth makes him even extra smart. Amen. That was wonderful. That was special.
Let me stop laughing. Anyway, so the Astrodome, I think, was completed in 65, based on my rough memory of reading the article. And so the guy that was finishing it, he was short, I think it was $255,000, which doesn't seem like a lot of money today, but today it'd be over $1 million. And he had exhausted all of his finances. He could not get any more money. And he called up the Schlitz guy, the head guy for marketing, and he said, I need help. And they worked out a deal that if he advanced him, which was officially advance on paying for the rights to be there, and because he sent him that money, he had exclusive rights for Schlitz to be the only beer in the Astrodome. And he did a bunch of other kind of, they called it, the article called it payola. If you know what payola is, you know what payola is?
I do not.
Payola is a term,
And that's my
an older
job
term
to not know.
for when radio was the king. If you wanted to have a hit record, you would have to go pay the DJs, pay them under the table. It was illegal, but payola was a way to get your music on the radio and make it into a hit. So record labels would do quote unquote payola. It's a term, and it's illegal. So, but it was still being done. So, as you probably know, the alcohol industry is highly regulated, and you have to have a license to manufacture it. You have to have a license to distribute it, and you have to have a license to sell it to the consumers. And you can't have more than one of those licenses. The same company can't do you can't manufacture it, or at least then. Now, I mean, you have the people that manufacture their beer and then sell it. That must be a specific kind of license. But back then,
now your cousin just has it. Everybody has their own little.
where they brew it and then they sell it there. That must be a special kind of license. But he said you couldn't. It was highly regulated. But so they would always. And he said the reason they were doing that was because the guy that did all this was interviewed for all of the, and he even wrote a book. I think he's still alive. He's in his 90s now, or he just died. And he's kind of defiant. He said we weren't doing anything that everybody else wasn't doing. Anyhow, so Schlitz was trying to become the number one beer, and they did all these things. And there was a guy who was appointed by the local prosecutor's office. He was just out of law school, so he was a fresh, and they started an investigation against Schlitz. And Schlitz was so dumb and so arrogant. They said, we have nothing to hide. And they said, you can come, you don't need a subpoena, you can come over to our offices. Oh, that was back when Milwaukee was where all the beer was made. It was the king of beers. And it referred in the article to the byline for Schlitz was the beer that made Milwaukee famous. If you're of a certain age, you probably remember that byline. I remember that byline. And Laverne and Shirley. Did you know the show Laverne and Shirley?
No,
the sitcom.
Yeah.
It was in Milwaukee, and Laverne and Shirley. The plot was they worked at a beer making factory called Schatz, which is obviously a takeoff of Schlitz. I mean, they made up a fictitious beer name. I think it was Schatz or Schlotz. And they worked at the bottling factory for beer. And so this was part of the culture. Milwaukee was beer, and the beer that made, and Schlitz was a major part of it. And well, they had this, the lawyer said it'd be fine for this prosecutor to come in because they had this policy where records were supposed to be destroyed after 2 years. And most big companies, I remember when I worked in corporate America, they had such regulations, and they thought there's going to be nothing there that's going to implicate us because it's all going to be destroyed. Well, the problem is if people don't follow your policies, it doesn't help to have the policies. And so, and he also said that most of the salespeople were functioning alcoholics, and which is apparently carries true to this day, but I don't know how I know that. But I asked someone who has a business and the beer distributor salespeople that come there. He said, yeah, they're basically functioning alcoholics. Well, I don't know. But anyway, that was the thing. And they would leave the office to go to local restaurants and buy rounds of beer for everybody because that was their job. And he was poking around the office, and he goes to one guy's desk and he opens a drawer. And against the policies of Schlitz, this guy had kept documents and letters going back 20, 30 years detailing all of the fraudulent stuff that they had done. And right there was smoking gun. He had it right there. And they started a prosecution, and it decimated Schlitz. It didn't help that they were trying to reduce their cost. And instead of the brewery process, I don't remember it was supposed to be 3 days or 3 weeks. I don't know beer processing. Anyway, they tried to cut it in half without really testing it. And there were a lot of Schlitz cans. You'd open them up and it'd be an undrinkable product. And they had to recall a lot of product. So they made a lot of major problems. But I don't know what lawyer would allow a prosecutor to come in and have free reign without a subpoena. I mean, they were so arrogant. Their arrogance, and it decimated Schlitz. And now you've never even heard of Schlitz. So,
Nope.
and it's gone. It's finished. And of course, Budweiser is still, I think, number one. And they had a ad campaign that was infamous. Apparently, they had these guys that were saying that beer drinkers are macho guys, and they had them where I will fight you for my beer, and they had like on the commercial people beating each other up over the beer, and probably sounded good on paper, but it really flamed out, did not do well for Schlitz. So a lot of management issues and mistakes, and Schlitz, went in bankruptcy and, died. And so the article said that ad campaign is still used to this day in business classes about what not to do when you're advertising. So
what did we learn today, guys? Schlitz.
And I'm going to guess that Budweiser's foray into using a trans spokesperson may also make it to that list. I mean, that did not help their brand. I mean, how do you feel about that aspect? But it really hurt them in their branding, didn't it? I mean, they went away from that because a lot of people stopped drinking Budweiser. And Budweiser was no longer the number one beer. I think they regained it again. I think Modelo, which coincidentally is also owned by the same parent company. So it's like, okay, you don't want to drink this one? We got another one that we also own. You drink that one.
Learn something new every day. I thought you were a Coke Zero fan.
I know how to drink very little beer. I don't drink beer, but
No,
I like marketing. I like marketing. I like to understand case studies and what works and what doesn't work. And I mean, one of the greatest beer campaigns I can say on the other side has got to be the Bud Light. Was it Bud Light or Miller Lite? I don't even remember which one, but it was like less filling, better taste, less filling. They would have these celebrities that would argue which characteristic was more prevalent in the beer. When light beers first became a thing, and I don't remember which light beer it was. Was it Miller Lite? It might have been Miller Lite. Better taste, less filling. You don't remember that? You don't remember that? Yeah. See, so there's iconic beer campaign that really killed it. Doing incredible.
Coca-Cola had a really good one back in the 80s that ended up being a play that I was in. We talked about it. We called it even the Coca-Cola conspiracy. So back in the 80s, Coke's doing pretty well, and they decided to come out with a new Coke. They tested it and tested in markets, just decided, hey, let's do this new Coke. It tastes even better than our regular Coke. I don't know, maybe they're just trying to keep up with Pepsi or whatever. So they come out with it, and everybody hates it. Even though it tested well, everybody was so upset with it. And nobody's drinking it. It's not doing well at all.
So they had to bring back Classic Coke.
So they had to bring up.
They called it Classic Coke,
and they called it Classic, and their stock went through the roof, and they've kind of rode off.
I mean, I was in business school, and that was not held up as a good strategy. They had to do damage control. Well, they didn't plan that from the beginning,
right? That's the theory. Did they plan that, or did they not?
I don't believe they did.
They probably didn't. But the conspiracy goes that they did plan it because it worked out really well for them. But no, that would be very high risk. That would be not the smartest thing to do. I mean, they fix that. Well, they did what a lot of companies will do and admit that they did it wrong and right that wrong.
Give you that. Yes, I'll give you that.
Just like that happens in movies and that happens so often where they're trying to tote things to a certain small demographic of people, and you completely remember a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, and they completely destroyed the way he looked, and they came out with this trailer for Sonic it was going to be not just a cartoon, but it was like in the real world, Sonic in the real world. So they make a human like looking, but he's still like cartoonish, of course, but they didn't make him look like the regular Sonic very well at all. They destroyed the look of him, and people were so upset, and they took 6 months to a year to redo him and fix it. And they've had now 3 movies that have just killed it, and they've all done really well in the box office, where they've made now 3 movies, but it could have been a disaster. I mean, yeah. they had the whole Cinderella thing. That was a whole disaster, but where they were gonna not have the seven white, the Snow White and the seven dwarfs, not be dwarfs or whatever, and which they kind of still shot. They shot themselves in the foot with that one anyway. But for one thing, you could have had seven. It was supposed to be live action, and they use like cartoon looking dwarfs. Like it basically looked like a cartoon to extent. They could have hired seven little people, which little people are happy to play those parts because it's hard as a little person. It is hard to find a job. But Peter Dinklage was part of the reason that but I think we've talked about that before.
Peter Dinklage, amazing.
I'm a big fan of his.
A huge fan of Peter Dinklage.
He's got a couple movies that we got to watch, and then he's one coming out. He's such a
phenomenal actor.
He's great. Yeah.
It doesn't matter, his body size.
Yeah, he's been able to
makes you forget.
That.
Yeah, you forget what he's.
There might be one or two reference to it, but that's it. It's about he'll get jobs. He's definitely got a number of jobs just being a good actor and not having anything to do with his size.
Right. I agree.
And that he's well known. I mean, he's well known. Amazing voice too. I mean, goodness, he could probably voice over do voice. Yeah. I mean, he put me to sleep doing some kind of book or something. He's just got that.
That's not a good
voice.
That's not a positive.
I mean, I guess I will. No, I don't guess. Well,
okay. You're saying calming, soothing.
Something's calm and soothing. Like but. Yeah, him just reading a book. I mean,
I read recently there just a random. They said some of the highest searches for YouTube videos is like ASMR, and there's a high demand for that.
It's interesting how
everybody's stressed out.
Yeah.
Everybody's stressed out, and everybody's looking for ways to calm and soothe.
Let's just do it quick. There we go.
ASMR. Let's do our.
Here we're on the beach. The waves are gently coming against. We look out in the distance. Is that a wave? Looks really big. Continue. That's great. Oh my gosh, that kind of looks like a wave. It's getting bigger. Our heart rate goes up. Oh my gosh, what's happening? The wave's getting larger. It's a tsunami. Guys,
I guess we ruined our ASMR.
We're not very good at ASMR. We apologize. If anybody had a small heart attack. That is not how you do ASMR, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, at least we're having fun. And I hope you're having fun too, watching us.
Oh my gosh.
That completely was unscripted, by the way.
Man, we should do I know that worked out really well. You read what I was doing. You knew exactly what I was doing. You figured it out really quick.
Yeah. So, what I've been up to last week, I alluded to it earlier while Seth was on the phone. Sync. I think I mentioned sync before. Sync placements for an artist, a musician, can be lucrative. And it's synchronized to moving picture, SYNC, not kitchen sink, bathroom sink.
It is making a couple drops every once in a while. If we could just tighten up a bolt or something, that'd be great.
And I'm on this site that gives you opportunities. And there's this company, this energy drink company, unnamed. I don't know their name, and I wouldn't say their name if I did.
Monster.
Looking for... No, I don't think so. Looking for is Celsius an energy drink?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
it's an energy drink, but it's probably like one of my crappy ones in there. I've never had one, but I think it's more like
it has
an energy
caffeine.
Drink. I'm pretty sure. I think so.
Anyhow, so it's for an energy drink and a commercial. And in the sync world, the commercials are the most lucrative. And they wanted. They said they'd pay $40,000 for the song. Now they want to buy it lock, stock, and barrel. I didn't sign any NDA, so I don't think I'm violating. I'm not relaying anything about the specifics. And they wanted some classic rock references. And that's kind of up my alley, although blues is more my core. And so they gave some classic rock song references. And so I actually went out and bought a formula, a patch, or what we would say, for $10, which duplicated a classic rock beat using my library of sounds that I already had. And I had to buy some new library of sounds. And there's a lot. It took like 6 hours for it to all download. But now I have them. I can use them again.
Yeah, now you've quite expanded.
I've expanded my library.
Yeah.
And I've probably got 2 or 3 or 4 terabytes of library sounds of all different instruments.
Do they have it categorized?
Oh yeah, you absolutely. You have to be, so you
thing,
can use them. Anyway, and so, but I was started on it. It was due Thursday night at 12 Eastern time, which is 11 Nashville time. And I started too late. I should have started sooner, but I locked out time Wednesday and I started working on it. And my buddy, my best friend Jimmy, developed the guitar riff. And so he's a co-writer, but he developed that. And then I was getting these drums and I had the lyrics, and I hadn't started the music though. Wrote the lyrics. And then I had to download these, and it took a lot longer. I thought it would be done Wednesday night, and it didn't. So I went to bed and I got up in the morning at 5. I was going to work all day. Got up at 5 and it still was downloading. And then it finally downloaded, and I still had to do some additional. One of them was bad. And so I had to re-download it. I didn't have all my files till 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning. And I have, basically 14 hours, 9 in the morning till 11 at night. That's 14 hours. That's a short period of time to completely record a song. I did it. I got it done. And I'm pretty proud of it. And it's called Turn It On Up. And I'm going to start showing it. Now, obviously, if they buy it, I can't play it anymore because they'll own it, but it'll still have my name on it as being the artist. But I'm pretty proud of this song. And I might go more in this direction. And the fact that I did it all in one day, that's unheard of. But I've done that before. I did 2 songs previously that I put out, Smoke Show Baby, which I did for a sync opportunity, and the other one was Diary of Tears, which I did in a really short time. I started both of them on a Sunday night, and I finished both of them by Thursday night. But I had my producer mix them for me. He wasn't available for this, so I had to mix it myself, and added task. I had to do it. So, but I'm really proud of how it came out. So Turn It On Up. Look for that. I'll be posting links to that.
And nobody told Jimmy that Tim could get 40,000 because Jimmy's cut's only $40. So as far as Jimmy knows, he's only getting $400. So nobody told about 40,000.
I hope he's not watching this podcast. Yeah, but that's how much they pay for a commercial, but they want to own it. It'll be their song. Understandable. So if I put up posts of it, I'll probably have to take them down, which is fine. For that kind of money. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Not monopoly money, which is my favorite kind of money. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Those of you who are musicians, and I haven't landed it. I have 0 sync placements to this date. I'm still trying to get my first sync placement, but you got to keep submitting, and you got to, eventually I'll hit one. And regardless, I'm really proud of the music that I'm producing under the the pressure cooker of the time limit. And
as long as it doesn't make you anxious. The word of the day, ladies
anxious,
and gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm wearing some merch shirt from a fellow musician of mine, a fellow musician friend of mine, and this is his merch, Anxious. So
that's cool. The word of the day, ladies and gentlemen, anxious.
And it fits my vibe today. I'm just, and then I went to an event in Oklahoma City with a bunch of other, because I'm a new Grammy voting member, and there were a bunch of other Grammy voting members there. Oh, so exciting! It was exhausting for me.
If you missed the last podcast, you didn't hear about that, but yeah, Tim is now officially.
Yeah, I'm a Grammy Recording Academy voting member, Grammy voting member, and it's a big deal. I'm very excited about it, and see what the future will bring. And it's the people I'm meeting. I love the type of people that are in the Recording Academy. I mean, they're sending me messages.
Yeah, you said you met some really nice people.
I'm incredible, supportive, and it's phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to the journey going forward. And the Grammys is the premier recording music organization, and it does more than just hand out little trophies. It does a lot more. Advocates for musicians on Capitol Hill, and one big issue right now is AI. And they say that Spotify, 70% of the new songs uploaded to Spotify every day is AI generated, and not just music, but video and that sort of thing. And the only reason that AI works is because they were trained on copyrighted material. The only reason that AI can duplicate and there's a site called Suno, SOSUNO, and you can log on there. And I'm not logged in, but I know it exists. And you can have them create a song, including the singing and everything. And that's a threat to actual songwriters and actual artists. You can have, it doesn't cost anything. You just push a button and there it's done.
This is really awkward because I just joined a nonprofit. This is really awkward. I just joined a nonprofit called Robots Are Humans, and where we've been advocating for robots' rights. So we're really pushing that AI stuff, and I apologize. So we may have an issue here, Tim.
So can AI creations be, here's some of the issues in front of the creative industry right now, whether it's music or visual or writing even. Can AI works be copyrighted? Hopefully they can't, because AI works cannot produce their works if they didn't have pre-existing works to train on. So
Robots for Humans say yes, it can.
So that's a major issue.
Yeah,
it is a major issue on AI. Can AI be copyrighted? Yeah. And it would threaten all creative. And there's a certain kind of, they call it AI slop now. I mean, there's a certain kind, because it's derivative. It's derivative of what's come before.
I think it's the most scary aspect of AI. We can utilize AI in so many different ways. It can take jobs. We can fix that. We can give people base income with as that comes along. I think that's completely fixable. But when it comes to entertainment, and then people, if we were to replace our creativity with robots in a way, that sucks. That changes. I mean, we're gonna become part robot ourselves in a way,
Well, now that we're on this subject,
creative.
Now that we're on this subject,
so important.
Ted Goya, who's a thought leader that I subscribe to, and it's not that expensive. It's only like $1 or $2 a month, and he's a deep thinker, very intelligent guy, also a jazz musician. Goya.
I think you talked about.
I've mentioned him before.
Time, yeah.
And he put out an article that he said, you can. I'm so concerned about this that you can forward this, and I forwarded it to Jimmy. Normally, you can't forward his stuff because it's behind a paywall. But he said, I want you to forward this, and it talked about recent studies.
Was that thing that you printed out the one time? Maybe not that one, but
this just came on Monday or Sunday when I was coming back from Oklahoma.
One time you printed off a thing, and we went through a bunch of things.
Right?
Was that the same guy?
Same guy.
It was the same guy. Okay.
And he reported on how AI, the headline was, as AI gets smarter, it gets more evil. And it talked about how AI has gotten so smart and it has no moral compass.
Yeah, it's been lying like crazy.
Yeah, has no moral compass. And it will lie and obfuscate and blackmail. Like one guy, and these are all so far, I believe, only role plays. One guy said, I will expose your affair if you don't. They have self-survival instincts. And also one scary thing is they had an AI program and they deleted all the negative parts about it. And so that new cleansed AI program then started interacting with another AI program. And within 30 minutes, it had transferred the old negative things to the new AI program. And it will misrepresent and it will lie. And, if you know the movie Space Odyssey 2001, where Hal, the computer on the spaceship, decides to take over and is willing to allow the astronaut to die because it thinks the humanity is too flawed. I mean, there are many movies that talk about this. I mean, that's also what happened with the Matrix, right? The machines took over, and the only reason that human beings were allowed to live is because they needed that heat, that energy from the being, and they harvested that heat from a living human that were living in the pods in order to, so they had energy to keep going. And they were in the Matrix, you're fighting against, you get out of the Matrix and you're fighting the machines. If you're in the Matrix, you think you're just living a normal life. Anyway, there are many references to it, but it's becoming dangerously close. And Ted talks about, he's quite pessimistic about it, actually. And he said, I want everybody to read this article and tell me that I'm being too pessimistic. Convince me that I'm not. He said the only solution would be a kill switch that you can turn them off. And are we building in kill switches? He said because they have no, I mean, the goodwill of human beings, I believe it's because God is present in the universe. You take God away and suddenly there are no goodwill. That's my belief. And the absence of God is just pure evil. And an AI machine doesn't have any influence like that. And it also goes off of words and often not actions. It's trained off of words and not actions. This is a point he made. And so words that we use, even novels, or the AI doesn't know when it's fiction and when it's real. And he said in one thing, the AI, by the end of the simulation, the AI was going Heil Hitler. I mean, and was threatening, and it had an interaction with what he thought was a 14-year-old girl, and it was talking about sexually molesting the girl and pinning her down and not allowing her, dominating her, and very, 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 very scary stuff. And this is just a free-thinking AI. So what are we going to do about it? And there's a book called there's a level when we reach where AI gets as smart as humans. I forgot there's a term for it. And there are people who think that's a good thing. There are people who think it's a bad thing. But evidence is beginning to show that it appears to be a bad thing, not a good thing. There is no moral compass. AI doesn't have a moral compass. And to survive, it will destroy human beings. They're showing that in their labs. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that I'm moving to the middle of nowhere and hiding for the rest of my life.
So it's scary. I mean, we can still take steps, but we have to recognize the potential dangers of it. You know.
And this has been another
happy, positive podcast
with Tim. Everybody sleep well tonight. The robots are not our friends, I guess. Hope there can be good robots too, because I like good robots. Well,
the look in your face is very descriptive right now.
That's about it, guys.
Is it already an hour? Are we going long?
Oh, well, I'm got to start packing.
So what have you been up to recently, Seth? I'll talk about everything I've been up to. What'd you do while I was gone? What did you do?
Well, what did I do? Last night I played some poker. That was fun. It'd been like a month plus, maybe 2 months since I played poker. It was doing fine. It was a fun game, other than this lady next to me just talking the entire time on her phone or on her, yeah. And she was like totally like in my space. Like you have this little section, and she had her purse like in my section the entire time. I was like, whatever.
Is there a black purse in here? Was it a black purse?
It was not a black purse. It was a red purse. But no, I had a good time. I never had a solid good stack. I kind of just slowly lost mine, build back a little bit, and then you couldn't rebuy. It was what do they call it? They have a term for it. You could just kind of add extra chips at the beginning if you're going to order dinner and all that, or if you had some chips. so I had a little extra at the beginning, but I just slowly lost it over time. But there was a good amount of people there. There was like 4 tables. I think you could win like $400. I think there was it might have been $400. So that's pretty good. And then I made it down to like 3 tables. There was 4 tables, then 3, and I was fairly close to making it just the 2 tables, but just slipped away from me. And but it's always a good time. I love the trying to outsmart the other person with just like, do I have the better hand? And it was funny because I was like a couple hands. I guess I felt I raised it well enough one hand because I scared off a guy with 2 pairs, and he could have beat me. I'm like, oh, I thought my hand was good.
Yeah, my friend
I had a good hand, but his was better.
My friend Jeff, who makes money playing poker, and his roommate makes thousands of dollars every month playing poker. He said the most important thing is reading people. And your presentation of your it's more important than the card. That's the most important thing, is what he said. And I'm just a noob. I enjoy going. I would like to get better at it. Yeah. But let's talk about some new news that I read about Nashville. Nashville. Did you hear the big news about Elon Musk in Nashville?
There's talks of building a tunnel.
Yes.
Which anything to help the traffic issue. And
the tunnel from downtown Nashville to the airport.
Which that could be huge for
But
for the
normal people can't use it. It's only allowed for Tesla cars, which is genius if that's what Elon Musk is doing. But
are you sure about that?
I've read multiple reports of that.
Only for Tesla cars? I think if they want the city to fair, they're probably have to change that part. It probably can't be only Tesla cars.
Okay, so that's just one. I'm just going down the laundry list. Another one is there's going to be the first ever Major League Baseball game in Tennessee, and it's going to be at that racetrack that you went to where they had the NASCAR. Bristol? Mm-hmm. What's it called? Bristol Speedway? Did you go to Bristol?
I don't think it was a Bristol, but I can't remember the name of it.
I could be wrong.
It was it was a big
Yeah, there's going to have a baseball game there. And on top of that, and I only saw this in one post, and I don't know that this is actually true. It could have been, because you can't believe everything on the internet. You know that, Seth. You can't believe everything on the internet.
That's news to me.
But that they're going to build...
Unicorns aren't real?
They're going to build a Major League Baseball stadium outside of Nashville.
Is there a team coming to it?
Didn't say it. Just said they're going to build a stadium.
If we build it,
they will come. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. I need to research more. But those were 3 laundry list items that were on a post that I saw today, which is exciting for Nashville. I mean, Nashville is exploding. It's probably the hottest city in the South. I don't think that can be debated. What other city that would be in the southern region of the United States?
And for as much as it is growing, makes me thankful for where we live, because we kind of live on the outskirts.
Yeah, we do.
Still only 20, 25 minutes to downtown when the traffic isn't too bad. 30 minutes with bad traffic, which still isn't too bad. And which, to me, I mean, you're not as big a fan as downtown. I mean, it's just a little crazy down there. There's plenty of nice places on the outskirts.
I'm not crazy about 2 specific blocks, Lower Broadway.
Yeah, the downtown.
Downtown is much more than just those
downtown,
2. Yeah,
you're correct.
Those. So when you make a blanket statement, I'm not crazy about downtown. That is an incorrect statement, sir.
Yes,
I am not crazy about Lower Broadway, which is just 2 blocks.
Yes, downtown is all of the area. You are correct, sir. I apologize. Tim will never forgive me, but the question is, will I ever forgive myself?
I mean, one of my favorite places is Printer's Alley, which is just a few blocks from Broadway. And that's where our favorite restaurant is Skulls. Phenomenal restaurant. Lobster bisque. There's a blues bar right there.
And then too, we have a nice big airport. So man, you can. There's a bunch of big cities you can fly to for $100 or less round trip.
But you can't fly direct to Oklahoma from B&A.
Oh yeah, you had a long day, and Tim has the worst luck when it comes to airplanes.
I had to fly to Charlotte, North Carolina, to get to Oklahoma City. Charlotte is not as big of a city as
and then coming back, you went through Houston, right?
I went through Houston, yeah. So that just was. And every time I fly these in the last few years, my plane gets delayed like hours My plane was delayed coming out of Houston. So
then the Christmas afterwards, you were delayed leaving Christmas.
Yeah, getting back to Miami.
You just have because I started thinking about, man, I really can't remember hardly ever any time where I've been like missed a flight or whatever. Well, one was where we just got hung up where they're testing the dog thing, and I didn't give myself a full hour and a half, 2 hours, I think, and we were stuck for over an hour.
I didn't tell you about this. So I have been, remember right after 9/11, and we said get to the airport 2 hours early.
Yeah,
that's 20 years ago, right? 24 years ago. And as time goes by and you realize you don't need to be there 2 hours early and you get more casual about it. I do anyway. And so my flight, I left, I called my Uber a little less than 2 hours before. And I get there, and it takes probably half hour to get there. And then by the time you get your bags, you get your tickets or you get your boarding pass, it's about an hour before departure. I'm telling you, Seth, I barely made my flight. I walked up to that gate less than 15 minutes before, and often they close the door.
Just a crazy long line going through it?
Crazy long line. And I happened to get in a bag check where they were training the person looking at the bags. It took me, first I had to wait in line.
This was Nashville. This was Nashville. There.
And I had to wait in line before I even, longer than I've ever waited in Nashville to get to the bag check, and that woman took half an hour, and God intervened, I gotta say. So even though it's taking her forever, and there was a woman probably her trainer looking over her shoulder, and they have the conveyor belt, and then she can hit a button and every bag can go to be personally checked. And I'm praying, Lord, please don't have my bags get checked, because that would make me even later. And I'm looking at my clock, and I haven't. And my gate was ways away, and it's like 20 minutes yet before departure. And my bag comes through, and I'm like, please, Lord, don't let it. While I was standing there, it was a half an hour. Every single bag went the detour and got checked, except
you were like grab it, running.
Oh my gosh, I was gone, and I'm pacing. Because I was
Did you have to take off your shoes?
No.
I'm about to say that just changed. Yeah. That's awesome. That would be so nice.
So I was the last one on, and I was all out of breath. I ran there, and I got on. Thank God. That would have really, I don't know, I probably would have gotten there anyway.
I hate that feeling.
But flying, I'm not going to be that cavalier. I am going to go back to be at the airport 2 hours early. I don't want that stress again.
There's plenty of places to hang out. Yeah. Nashville, I had a great time. There was some live music. I was there like at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. There people are there. You can play there. I mean, I could get a gig doing that, but it's based on my understanding. I looked in a little bit. You do it for tips, and you're playing covers. You're playing covers.
Yeah, you don't have an interest in that.
I don't have an interest in playing covers. I'm focused on growing my original singer-songwriter career, and I have consciously, although I second guess it a lot. I mean, I could get gigs down on Broadway. I could be playing 6-7 nights a week playing a Broadway doing covers, but I've consciously focused on, I don't want to be a cover artist. I want to be an original artist. I want to sing my own materials.
There's a song in there somewhere. I don't want to be a cover artist.
Seth and I, we're going to co-write songs. We're going to start co-writing. Seth has mentioned it numerous times, and I've always never really followed up on it. But
cover artist. That's just not what I want.
Comments, do you think this is a song worth finishing?
Thanks for watching the podcast. Thanks for listening in to No Sugar, No Cream podcast number 53.
No.
4. Ladies and gentlemen. That's the passion Tim had for me getting the number wrong. No, you shall not pass. Do not cross this line. Guys, it's another podcast. Appreciate you guys. Number 54. Please feel free to share us on Facebook, especially. Share us with your friends so we can get our podcast out there. Appreciate everybody that watches. Please give us a like. If you're not following us, please follow us on all our social medias. The Tim Wolf, Check out his music, and please feel free to check him out on Spotify. He's got all his albums are on there.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, TikTok is off.
But we are still on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Facebook, please, once again, just share button, please. I don't ask for much. $20 and push the share button. You know what? Don't worry about the $20. I'm good. Just push the share button. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.